Guys, welcome back to the channel and to the garden. In today's video we're just going to be doing a winter protection guide for tree ferns, so your Dicksonia Antarctica, which you can just see off the back here. Going to be taking a look at all different sizes, so your potted plants, your small trunks, medium trunks and large trunks, as well as general information for winter care for these amazing plants. Now this is a collaboration video between myself, Eddie at Weoley Tropicals, as well as Andrew at Grow Tropical MK. Going to go through our various methods here for you guys today and show you exactly how we can make sure that we get these trees through so we can enjoy them year after year. And with YouTube's new collab feature, you can easily check out the channels featured in this video just by checking out the links at the bottom of the video. What you can see here, guys, we've got a few of my Dicksonia Antarctica tree ferns off the back here. We've got about 15 of various sizes in this location. Now, when it comes to winter time, of course, with these, they can take quite a bit of cold. Unlike some of the other tree fern species, you may find that some of them can't go anything below 0. But with these beautiful trunks, you can get them down to around about -8 to -10 degrees C. I've even, Nikki down at Hillside Exotics has also mentioned they've had theirs go down to -12 at one point and still survived. Now, of course, when we're getting to those much colder temperatures, there are forms of protection that we really do need to employ just to ensure that we can get these through. Our main concern is that the growing point, so the bit in there, is frozen. That's what we're trying to avoid here. So what are we going to use today to do this? Just show you here. So we've got a few different things to show you. We've got here one of our large frost fleece bags. Now, this is one I had last year. We did use it on the Butia, which you can see in the back there with our other winter protection. Great sort of products. I'll put a link in the description below, as well as the comments for all the stuff that I'm using today as well. I've also got some landscape fabric. Now, this is something I use. You can use fleece. Fleece is probably a little bit better option, but landscaping fabric has worked well for me as long as it's sort of breathable. What we don't want is to kind of trap moisture where it can freeze around the trunk. The other bits we can use here is a bag of straw. Now, I would avoid against hay. Hay can prevent or cause grass to eventually grow, which can be an absolute nightmare to get out of the trunks if that does occur. Also, we can use things like dry leaves. Now, things like oak leaves and things like that are quite good, but what I would suggest is, if you can, the best leaves we can use is eucalyptus, if you can get hold of them, as this is kind of what they use in their natural environment. Now, what we'll do is just jump straight over and I'll show you the first protection on the medium plants over here. So this is your 2-foot trunks. So one of the first steps here, we're going to take a handful of our straw. This could also be your dry leaves or a ball of fleece. We're going to simply tuck that right into the crown, so this is the top of the tree fern here. Now what that's going to do is hopefully to insulate the top so that when the cold hits, it's going to sit on top and not go down into the trunk. Now with the straw, I'd always ensure that you're trying to keep it as dry as possible, same with the fleece. So what we're really trying to do, once again, is prevent moisture from getting in, but do bear in mind with tree ferns, they are moisture-loving plants, so it's a bit of a battle here with what we're doing, but as suggested, straw will be the first method. That could be your dry leaves, once again, or fleece into the top here. And what I'll do is just show you the next step. Now, I'll only put this in, or I will put the straw in. That can stay in for most of the winter. When it comes to wrapping the trunk, I will only wrap it during the coldest periods, which we'll just show you now. So you can just see here now, we've got that wrapped around it. That is a folded up bit of landscaping fabric. We'll just come in here. And what you would do, as you can see, I've done it temporarily. What we would do is then wrap either some string or things like that around it just to hold that in place. But as you can see, I've sort of covered the trunk. It looks a bit again, it could be tightened up here, but that's what you do, the string. As you can see in the center here, we've tucked that in, and that's where your ball of fleece would just go right in the top. Now, for this, I would only do this, say, below -3 C. And on these sort of smaller medium plants, we're wrapping the whole kind of trunk here, as these are only sort of 2-foot trunks. What we're going to do is pass you over to Eddie, who's just picked up a new 6-foot colossal beast of a tree fern, and he's just going to show you what he's doing on his.
Hi, it's Eddie and welcome to Weoley Tropicals. Today I'm going to show you how I'm planning on protecting my brand new 6-foot tree fern. I'm going to use some horticultural fleece, and all I've done is bundled that over a couple of times so it's a little bit thicker. I only need to cover the top 2 foot of that. I'm not planning on protecting the entire trunk. I'm looking at protecting this when it drops down to around about 0 down to about -3 onwards, and when the temperatures rise back up, if there's any brief period, I'm going to take this out. On top of that, I've got a ball of this. I just ripped up some, stuffed it right into the crown. If this thing gets wet, what I'm going to do on the dry days, take it out, give it a bit of a shake off and let it dry. But I'll just show you very, very quickly now how I'm going to wrap this. Do a bit of a tree hugger special. Make sure this is right in the top, because that's the section that we're worried about. Put that in there, and then what I'll do is I'll secure the front of that with some twine so I can take that off really easy. I don't want that as a permanent feature.
Thanks for that, Eddie. Definitely a beast you've got there. Really quite jealous of that one, looking lovely. And as you can see, guys, on the larger ferns, we don't necessarily need to cover the whole trunk, but as mine are only about 2 foot tall, that way, of course, I'm going to be wrapping the top 2 foot, as Eddie mentioned. What I'll do is just pass you over to Andrew at Weoley Tropicals MK. He's just going to show you his method for the much smaller or potted plants. You know, similar to these here. This is my Dicksonia fibrosa. This one will be coming in, but Andrew's just going to go into a bit more depth on that. Pass you over now.
Thanks for that, Rich, and welcome to the Weoley Tropicals MK garden here in sunny Milton Keynes. With tree ferns, I've only got really small ones, and putting them in the greenhouse over winter is definitely the best option. I don't think they'll fare too well with severe minus temperatures, but another option is keeping them as house plants. They're also great oxygenators, so a really good solution in my opinion for the smaller ones.
Thanks for that, Andrew. Really helpful to know what to do with them when they're potted. I myself will be doing the same thing with a lot of my smaller potted ones. But if you do have them in the ground and they're small, so for example, such as this one here, which has been in for 2 and a bit years now, starting to put on a decent little trunk. This one I'll protect by just placing a load of straw, basically around the base and into the crown as well. So if you do have them in the ground, you're unable to move them inside the house for the winter. This is another option for you for those sorts of tree ferns here. Now, one thing to mention, and you may have seen our large fleece bag that I showed in the beginning. Now that is for the kind of apocalyptic times. With that said, typically the fronds will stay down to around about -4°C and should stay sort of evergreen. If you do get below that, they may brown off. I would suggest leaving the fronds on until they kind of sag down so we can keep the crown nice and open for the growing for next year. Now, with the fronds itself, I've tried protecting them before, and I do find that it's the temperature, it just browns them off. So my method moving forward, I don't really worry about the fronds. We'll hopefully get a great new flush in the year. But let's say, for example, we were looking at a temperature of going down below, let's say kind of -8, -10, we're getting to those really, really cold temperatures. In that case, I would use that big zip fleece bag and I would wrap the entire plant. I'd probably end up chopping off the fronds, really just to protect it. These are quite expensive plants, unfortunately. But with that said, yeah, I really wouldn't do anything like that unless we really were getting very, very cold, which we don't typically get. I think last year we had down to about -6°C in this garden. And again, the fronds on this one stayed green. We did lose a couple fronds off the back, but for the most part, you know, they're absolutely fine. As you can see, full new flush this year. But yeah, guys, just wanted to kind of show you that there. Hopefully, just as a bit of a recap, 0 degrees, we're putting in the fleece straw and a little bit into the crown. Anything below -3, we're going to be starting to wrap the trunk, as you've seen. And anything below sort of -8, -10, we're just going to really hope these make it through. But yeah, just want to say thanks to the guys for jumping on this collab. Hopefully the information everyone's given is helpful for you guys. Got a lot more content coming out soon, so keep an eye on our channels. A lot of overwintering guides and protection guides. We're getting close to that time. It does appear sort of next week for me is going to be getting down to around about the 0 mark, slightly below perhaps on nighttime temperatures. So just wanted to get this out, as most of the UK will probably be experiencing a bit of a cold spell for most of the country. So with that said, certainly keep an eye on your forecasts, plan ahead, ensure that you've got the adequate protection. Again, it only takes a couple minutes really to prepare protection for these. I'd say it's absolutely worth it, especially if you do get some of those colder temperatures. But with that said, if you haven't checked out the friends of the channel, be in the comments section below. And of course, if you're not subscribed, feel free to do so. And of course, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.